Coach Terry.
Coach Terry.
Coach Terry.
Coach Terry. Coach Terry.
This will be my 10th year coming up at Western Branch High School as a girls varsity coach, and I've coached the Neptunes girls basketball team in AAU for 7 years.
Let's go. Neptunes on three. Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Before I came to Coach Terry's team, I just played basketball because it was fun. My brother played, and I just thought it was cool. I was pretty good because I was fast and more athletic than most of the girls that were 12 years old. But I think after playing with Coach Terry, I really picked up a love for the game.
I sucked. But when I came to Coach Terry, I got better. I started to know that playing basketball is not just about just politics and people just knowing you. It's just about working hard every time you get in the gym. You should get in the gym every day. But with Coach Terry, he's going to make you work hard.
I was bad. My freshman and sophomore year, I was horrible. I had a big head. I was a freshman starting varsity. I just thought I was really, really good. I used to get kicked out of practices all the time. I used to talk back. Always a hard worker, but I just goofed off way too much.
The two things I like to focus on in practice is effort and energy. I think you have to have a lot of effort in practice. If you're going to get better, you got to push each other. I think the energy has to be there, because if it's just dead in the gym and people aren't talking, then that's not very productive, because it's not going to help us in the games when we will absolutely have to talk to be effective.
His practices were just about the most intense I've ever had or experienced. Again, he'll let you play, he'll let you get your laughs and your giggles in, but it's serious. Because Coach Terry wants to get better. He wants his teams to get better.
I better get on Jazz. Jazz better pick it up. Jazz better pick it up.
The competitive drills, every single day, every single practice, you're going at the person across from you or whatever. And you were getting better. I can say that about every single practice. I always got better with Coach Terry, every single one.
We have a 3-on-3 continuous drill called Phoenix that we do, and the kids love it. It's also a great conditioner because it's fast break action nonstop. Four-man shell is my favorite drill on defense because it works on all the principles of our man-to-man defense that we expect them to be able to perform in the games. The most competitive drill is the Phoenix drill and four-man shell, so those would be my favorite two drills. One's a defensive drill, and one's more of an offensive transition drill.
When you talk about skill-wise, he does a lot of half-court drilling with the plays and going over it over and over and over to ensure that it's done exactly the right way and understanding why they're doing a certain drill or running a certain play.
I'm trying to get it. I can't get this wrapper. I keep hitting myself.
Come on, let's go.
Like that? You gotta get skinny.
You got to turn your body a little bit if it's a wraparound. Turn your body a little bit.
It was pretty intense. I definitely saw some of the things that we did in high school, some of the things we do now in college, some of the drills that we ran. I've seen other high school practices and not nearly as intense as how he runs his stuff. So he does a good job of preparing, for what you could possibly see in the future.
Better tonight, more effort into a practice that was twice as hard. Does that even make sense? No, it's good that you picked it up, but it doesn't make sense that I have to turn it up and make the difficulty level that much higher to get you to respond. That, whether you want to admit it or not, wouldn't happen if we really, really had good leadership. If y'all held each other accountable a little bit more and it didn't all come down to what I'm saying or Coach Rob is saying, it would make a difference. Too slow, Shy. Come here, Shy. Come here. I'm not worried about that right now. You're going to go get that tire. Because you're going, where's the tire? Go get it, take it down, because you're going in like this with one hand. You go in and protect the ball. We don't do one-hand layups.
Never forget the tire. His tire is a big punishment for him. It's a tire and it's on a towel. And when you get in trouble, most coaches say, go do some wall sits, go do some push-ups, run some laps. You get on the tire, you get your butt down, and you push around the entire gym. That's like the worst thing ever.
Go all the way to the basket.
Passion is the number one thing that I show every game. I do support and cheer for my girls, winning or losing. I'm not one of those coaches that only stands up and is coaching when they're winning. A lot of coaches are doing a great job standing up when their team is winning, but when they start losing, they just sit down.
Coach Terry on the sideline is like a bloopers reel sometimes. Like he's animated, he's so intense. And I think he forgets sometimes this is a game and other people are here watching and it's not practice.
You're supposed to be up there, Nyla. You're supposed to get a steal. Get that. There we go. Nyla.
He's very focused. If someone makes a mistake and he tells you to go sub in for them, he might not even say their name. You're just supposed to know that that's who made the mistake and that's who you're going to get.
He's not the type to take you out if you airball a shot or something. He's more of a defensive coach, so if you miss something on defense, then you're gonna come out the game.
Get that. Black up. We was only in the 2-3 because they wasn't playing no defense.
Everybody.
Lack of defense, missing a rotation on defense. You can forget a play on offense. You can take a layup and throw it over the backboard. You can do all those things. On offense, that's not going to get you taken out most of the time. If you make the same mistake 3 or 4 times, then we may need to, come to the side and you may need to come out so we can talk about it. But defense, for me, is the number one thing.
I can see him now doing, this is his move. Like when he talks to you, he turns his head to the side and he's like, why are you doing that? Why do you go trap? Something like that. And I mean, he's Coach Terry. I mean, he's very unique.
With girls, a lot of times you have to build them up and tell them how much you believe in them. And once they see that their coach believes in them, then they start believing more and more in themselves, and it makes them that much more effective as a basketball player.
Nobody really should be able to out-physical us, really. Even though, we're not the biggest team in terms of height and stuff, but when you three really get pissed off and start playing really hard, people really aren't going to be able to push y'all around, okay? And then even the guards, you play physical, you got a certain level of scrappiness to you. You're a very scrappy bunch overall, which is what I always love in a team. And then you don't really, you're not going to let nobody push you around too much. But if I gave a game ball this game, and I'm not doing this, I'm just saying, if I was to give a game ball, Nyla would get this thing all day. The whole second half, making plays, hustling, hitting shots. I wish you would talk a little bit more. But everything else, and if we're talking about leading by example, that's about as good a half under those circumstances, considering you were one of the main ones that I noticed they was really trying to play physical with. But you know what that did in you? That brought out everything you had because you actually liked that, which is crazy. But you actually embraced that, and that's one of the reasons you were so locked in, so focused, and so engaged that whole game, because you actually saw how it was going to be from the jump. In the second half, you just played a great set. That's the best half of basketball I've ever seen you play. So we can do a little 2 clap or something on 3.
2 claps for 9 on 3.
1, 2, 3. Hey, all right.
I grew up so quickly because, again, all that laughing and joking, while it was okay to play, it was okay to have fun, he made me really take on that point guard role. The point guard is your floor general, usually your coach on the floor, and he made me do that, and he held me to that level.
There you go, C. Come on, Cass, do it right. Let's go. Hard. Good.
He helped me a lot. He helped me fix my shot because sometimes my shot, the way I was shooting it was wrong. He helped me with more with my footwork on defense, and he just helped me like play more confident in general.
I think Coach Terry most definitely made me a better shooter. We had shooting competitions. I mean, we'd be in there like 2 hours just shooting. I grew a lot from that. I became a knockdown shooter, I would say, from that, and it was because of Coach Terry. I mean, we were in there. I mean, sometimes he would turn out the lights and say, as a shooter, you're supposed to just kind of know where you're at on the floor.
I became more, how can I say it, more stronger mentally, and I learned how to be a leader.
Right there. Good. Come on, Jazz. Push the ball down. Good. Keep your hand on it. There you go, Shy. Good. Scoop it up. Scoop it up. Good.
I've definitely gotten better playing with Coach Terry. Like I said, I definitely gained confidence, which is something that's key when you're playing the sport of basketball. He has this way of bringing the best out of all of his athletes. He knows what your talent is. He knows what you're capable of. And he is willing to work very hard to get you to see that yourself and to execute.
Yeah, just switch. Yeah. Good job.
See Coach Terry as like a second dad because he's always there when I need him the most.
He cares so much, and he wants nothing but the best for all of us.
He does put everything into his players. Like, he probably invests in more of his time than I have had with any other coaches.
Every girl that comes through his program is almost in debt to him because he does so much for each one of his players.
He's 120% into it, and he gives as much as he possibly can.
A lot of these things that he does, he tries to bond with his player in more than just one way, and many coaches don't do that.
He still has a relationship with me, and I think that's amazing, and I'm in debt to him for what he's done for me and what he's doing for me, even still in my career. So thank you, Coach Terry.
I'd say my relationship is pretty good. I've been doing it for 10 years, and we win a good amount of games, and I think you got to have a good relationship with your players to have success on the court if you want them to really play as hard as they can for you as a coach and to have that feeling that they'll go through the wall for you.
He really pushed me. He wanted me to go and play somewhere in college, and I'll never forget, he was probably more excited than I was when I got my first letter from East Carolina. And he was so excited. He took me, away from the whole team, and we went out and we sat in the bleachers at the football stadium, and he told me how proud of me he was and how excited he was, and then he read it to me, and he just wanted me to take it all, to take off and just be really good at it. So he really pushed me to not only play in college, but exceed in it, and know what to expect.
Coach Terry's a very dedicated coach, and he was constantly sending out emails, sending out things to different coaches, letting them know that I'm an available player, that I was someone that they would want on their team, and that got coaches out to our games in the summer, and it gave me the opportunity to play at the next level, so I'm very grateful for that.
Oftentimes you'll see people who you wouldn't think would be going to play basketball, D1, D2, D3, whatever, getting the opportunity to play because of Coach Terry. He works hard for his girls, and he expects them to do the same. So, that opens up opportunities in the future for his girls that, just play hard and showcase their talent the best way that they can. And I think that's overlooked a lot, but he has put out a lot of talent to the next level.
As a coach, like I said, a lot of the drills that he runs now, I do those. A lot of the techniques that he does, sometimes I'll say something and I was like, I sound like Coach Terry. Because it's just natural. It's just, for someone to be that influential in your life, it's hard not to pick up on some of their traits.
I would say to a new kid that wants to play at Western Branch, or a kid that wants to come play on my travel team, my AAU team, you're probably going to be pushed more than you're used to. You're going to be pushed out of your comfort zone. My expectations are high. I don't judge myself on whether or not, my teams win, a state championship or a national championship or something. I judge it on the improvement, and how much the kids get better when they're with me. I judge it on how much more mature and responsible they become, not just on the court, but off the court. And I think off the court matters just as much as on the court. To me, actually, it probably matters more than what we're doing on the court. I feel like on the court we'll always be successful if we work hard and play defense. And we win a good amount of games, because of those things. Obviously, offense does matter, but for me, the key has always been defense. I think that's always going to be first for me. The biggest benefit, reward for me is seeing them get better and go back to the high school team as better players. That's always a goal of mine. And obviously, the reward really just comes, not in wins and losses. The reward comes from them getting an opportunity to play in school and get an education and just grow on and off the court. That's the reward for me.